How's it going, everyone? Hope all of you are having a good one. Welcome to the live. It looks like no intro was set in place for today's live stream, so that kind of caught me off guard. But I hope all of you are having a good one today. Hope you all started off the week very strong. We're going to go ahead and quickly talk about what's going on to the market. Of course, you're tuning in to the number one podcast in crypto, where we keep things authentic and most specifically, we talk about DeFi. So let's go ahead and get started. As we usually do, we start off with talking about crypto bubbles. On the weekly, we do see some good gains all across the board. We do see virtual hitting about 92%. The next one, we see Pengu, which is the Pudgy Penguins, not NFT. They do have an NFT, but their meme coin, or I guess gaming coin, if you want to call it. Trump up 40%, Bonk up 32%, Sui up 30%, Layer with 62% for the week. So definitely a lot more green that we've been seeing these last couple of weeks. Last week was very, very great. I see a few of you guys tuning in right now. Go ahead and smash that like button to go ahead and start off. Chad, how's it going, man? Good to see you, as always. So with crypto bubbles right now at the moment, that's what we have for the week. So one thing I have actually noticed, I have been noticing a lot of these meme tokens start to take off. There were a few meme tokens last week that started to do very, very well. It looks like the Pepe and the dog narrative is coming back. So keep an eye out on those tokens. If you haven't loaded up any positions, of course, not financial advice, but we are seeing all across the board. I've noticed a trend with the dog tokens and the meme tokens starting to pick up. Let's go ahead and take a look at the daily right now. Daily red all across the board. I looked at the stock market. Stock market kind of finished off neutral, kind of a little low. Nothing too crazy. And one of the main reasons being is because on Wednesday we do actually have the Fed. No, actually not the Fed. We're going to go ahead and have CPI data and other data that's going to be announced. So that's one of the main reasons why we're probably going to see a little bit of sideways action into the market. We'll talk a little bit about more what those events are going to be. But looking at the hourly, we see a little bit more neutral. This is usually around the time of day where we start to pick up in the market after the U.S. markets close and everyone starts to digest all the information and make their decisions. So as I mentioned, let's go ahead and take a look at what are the major reports that are coming in. And the Fed looks to be providing this information. So it seems like I was somewhat correct. So as you see, Wednesday, April 30th, which is tomorrow, ADP employment data is going to come out, GDP, employment cost index. We're also going to see consumer spending, which I do not expect that to be high. Personal income, PCE index, core PCE index, and pending home sales. So this is what most of the major news is going to be coming in. Of course, also too, we did have some news today. And Thursday, we also have jobless claims, which we're going to go ahead and see how that's going. Construction spending, which is definitely an indicator to see how the economy is doing. Auto sales as well. I expect auto sales to actually do very, very well. And the reason being is due to the fact that there was this whole entire scares with the tariffs not that long ago, a few weeks ago. And I'm pretty sure a lot of dealers went ahead and raised their prices on their cars about 25 to 30%. And I actually read up somewhere on some news. I don't remember what article it was, but they mentioned that car sales actually had the best month ever since the pandemic. So I do expect car sales to be doing pretty good for this report on May because of people freaking out and getting fear of missing out. They started to go ahead and purchase vehicles. On Friday, we also have a little bit more data. So it looks like all of May, most of May, it's going to be nothing but data coming out. So we're going to go and see how things go here. But this is one of the main reasons why I kind of expect a little bit of volatility towards the end of the week. Of course, if this data comes out good, then we could go ahead and see some upside in the market, which is definitely something that we want to go ahead and see, right? One of the biggest things I do want to go ahead and mention, everyone, as you see on this article, this woman went ahead and lost her savings due to a scam. So I do want to go ahead and mention right now, because of how the market's going to start picking up, I have been seeing a lot of scams coming all across the board. So be very, very cautious as always. No one's ever going to personally reach out to you asking to go ahead and provide your seed phrase, any of that information, or even send money. So always keep that in mind. And if you ever come across an opportunity, let's call it, that is promise you insane returns, and I'm saying guaranteed promises, those are usually scams, right? There's no such thing as a guarantee out there. So if anyone ever approaches you saying that they guarantee you no risk at all, that you're going to get, percentage per day, 20, 30, 40, 50% per day, just run away. More than likely a scam, right? Also, as well, if you get random phone calls, be very, very cautious on providing data over the phone as well. Coinbase, Kraken, none of these exchanges will ever ask for information. Most importantly, your ledger information. So please, please, please do not give out your private information, not your ledger information. And most importantly, do not click on random links asking you to update your ledger on an email. So be very, very cautious, guys. This is usually the time where a lot of scams tend to happen because of the market's looking good. It always seems like the scammers always come around when the market's doing good. Scammers are always running around every time, but it just seems like there's a season, and that's usually when crypto starts to pick up. They go ahead and start ramping up very, very heavily. So be very, very cautious. They do try to prey on FOMO and also fear by making you click certain things to go ahead and get you to supposedly keep your funds safe. So be very, very careful, guys. Like I mentioned, if you're not too sure, if you're in a community, go ahead and feel free to reach out to one of us before you go ahead and make any kind of major purchase or transfer when it comes to any cryptos. And if it sounds too good to be true, more than likely it is. So unfortunately, to see this lady went ahead and lost her savings. Looks like we do have some questions. Let's see, comments and just chat. Nice. Feel free to comment, guys. Once you guys comment, you definitely get this live stream engaged. One of the things I wanted to go ahead and talk about today too as well. So prosecutors are seeking about a 20-year prison term for the founder of Celsius Network, which was a lending platform in the last bull run. They claim that, he was using customer funds not ethically, I guess, if you want to call it. And that resulted in Celsius Network going down and basically going bankrupt. I don't remember which bankruptcy they went for. I'm assuming it was probably Chapter 13. I think that's restructuring, one of them. I think they did go ahead and pay people back, but of course, not everything. A very similar thing that happened with Voyager as well, right? It's actually pretty interesting to go ahead and read this article right here. They're really trying to fight for him not to go ahead and get sentenced. But yeah, really interesting. We're going to go to see where things go here. But if you were around last bull cycle, you definitely are familiar with Celsius Network. A lot of exchanges last cycle collapsed. I think over 4 or 5, maybe even more, collapse. So always keep in mind, always keep your funds on your ledger. And if you need any help, just feel free to reach out if you are in our private community, of course. Now, the other thing I want to go ahead and talk about, which is actually pretty good news, right? We've been seeing this trend coming along. So SoFi CEO just went ahead and announced that they will be bringing cryptocurrencies back again into their platform. I don't see exactly where it says when they actually plan of doing this, a given date, but you could go ahead and expect this coming in very, very soon. I'm sure a lot of this has to do with now the new administration being a little bit more crypto friendly. So we're starting to see a shift of a lot of companies now onboarding crypto blockchain technology due to regulation being a little bit more in our favor, right? Especially if you're in the US. The US had some pretty harsh rules, or they were trying to do some harsh rules when it came to regulation in the US. So it's good to go ahead and see this. This definitely means that, retail is going to go ahead and get an opportunity to go ahead and jump into these asset classes without having to figure out how to use a ledger or even a Rabby wallet, right? So SoFi is one of the other largest fintech banks, I think very close to Robinhood, and what is the other one? Discovery or Discover It? Discover It. Discovery. That's a channel, I think. Discover It. So Discover It. That actually got bought out by So Capital One actually bought out Discover It. So, anyways, SoFi is a pretty big fintech bank. Really took off in the last couple of years as well. And they actually have a lot of services there to offer. I've never personally used it myself, but I know they do have a lot of things to go ahead and offer in there. It's almost very similar to like a Robinhood, where they go ahead and make things a lot easier for the average person to navigate and use these financial instruments. So it's really good to go ahead and see them bring this back. It looks like they were forced to drop this back in 2023. As they were becoming a regulated bank, right? So due to regulation of them becoming a bank, they went ahead and dropped cryptocurrencies back in 2023 just to go ahead and pursue that. And now it looks like they're bringing this back in action. So that is definitely good for you and I when it comes to liquidity, when it comes to profit taking, right? Now, one of the recent news that actually was a few days ago, on the 27th, Monero went ahead and skyrocketed about 40%, leading a few of these altcoins to also do pretty well. Monero, for all of you that might not know, we talked about this in the past. It is a privacy coin. Always make sure you follow your laws and regulations in whatever country or state you're in. Monero is illegal in certain places, so be very, very cautious if you do utilize this currency, okay? But Monero is a privacy token. Most exchanges have already delisted Monero. There's very few exchanges that you could actually go ahead and purchase Monero. I think the only one that I know that, and they even went ahead and made a post recently to go ahead and delist them, is Binance. I can't think of any other exchange that has Monero in there. But basically what ended up causing the spike of Monero skyrocketing was that there was some sort of trader that was moving large amounts of crypto into Monero. Zach XBT, I believe his name is. He's a pretty big investigator on Twitter, for all of you that follow Twitter. He mentioned that this was a very suspicious account and activity that was going on. They're claiming that this could be a hacker group or a hacker that had stolen funds and is making that transition into Monero. So that's what spiked the price of Monero, was due to this hacker swapping these. I think he was swapping Bitcoin for Monero, which caused a big spike on Monero. So they went ahead and made quite a few. I think they went ahead and converted quite a few million. So yeah, very, very interesting to go ahead and see that. But yeah, that caused definitely a small little rally when it came to the altcoins, especially with the privacy tokens started to go ahead and pick up a little bit more. But yeah, Monero's always been one of those that I've always talked about to keep an eye on if it's legal for you to, purchase and own. But I think privacy in the long term is going to be something that's going to be very, very valuable. So just my opinion, of course, not financial advice. But yeah, this was one of the news that caused Monero to skyrocket. If any of you were wondering, same goes with the altcoins. As we talked about, we have critical economic reports being reported on Wednesday, which we just went over. So expect a lot of volatility all across the board. Now, let's go ahead and quickly look into the market and see what we could go ahead and find on TradingView. So we're going to go ahead and start off with taking a look at how the NASDAQ is doing from last we left. Alrighty, so looking at the daily right here, we do see some strength picking up. It looks like a possible reversal. I talked about this a few days ago that I really wanted to go ahead and see the NASDAQ start to break out of this zone right here between this $19,000 range, but specifically around this $20,000. I think this is going to for sure confirm that the downtrend is finally over. So we should be seeing some sort of move like this. Of course, there might be some sort of correction around here happening, which is also interesting because it looks like a possible inverse head and shoulders pattern, which is the same pattern that we saw in Bitcoin last week that went ahead and caused it a spike. So maybe we see something like this. We don't know. We'll see where it goes. But ideally, what I'm waiting for the NASDAQ to go ahead and do is to start breaking out of this $20,000 range to fully confirm that the downtrend is finally over, right? You never want to go ahead and assume that the downtrend is already over on a little breakout, because I could go ahead and show you right here back at around what is this, April 2nd. We tried to reattempt that breakout. We failed. We broke out a little bit, and then we ended up going lower, right? So what we don't want to go ahead and see is, of course, we're going to be hitting resistance because there is a lot of selling pressure around this zone. So it is healthy for us to even correct for probably a couple days, and then continue to go up. But as long as we don't drop below back to this $18,000 range, or even down to the $17,000 range, we should be fine for the NASDAQ. Now, keep in mind, as I mentioned, the NASDAQ is the tech sector in the stock market and really has a strong correlation with Bitcoin in particular. So let's go ahead and take a look at Bitcoin. Same thing is going on with Bitcoin. We're also seeing this kind of resistance, trying to reattempt that breakout. I'm hoping, personally, I'm really hoping that we do see Bitcoin cool down a little bit because these last couple of days, Bitcoin has been ripping, right? As you see, Bitcoin started to rip back over here at around April 21st. And right now we are now in this resistance. So once we break out of this zone right here, ideally this strong resistance of around $100,000. Once this gets broken and it holds pretty well, expect $109,000 Bitcoin coming up. And then anything above that as well would be entering a new price discovery. So basically meaning once we see Bitcoin break out of this $100,000 range, we are closer to approaching the $109,000 Bitcoin. And then once we break that, guys, we are off to the races. I do expect Bitcoin to be running up to $120,000 in no problem. So we're going to go ahead and see how this market does. I've talked about in the past how Bitcoin usually has a tendency, or the market overall has a tendency to always correct at around July. The only time it was a little different was around May 2020, and that was during the pandemic. But if you go ahead and take a look right here back in 2021, we do see 2021, Bitcoin went ahead and topped between June or July, and then it started to find a bottom towards the end of July, which is very typical. And then we see a very strong upside leading from August to September, of course, leading all the way up to November. Very similar thing that we saw right here back in 2022. We also see that Bitcoin right here, once again, also at around this July area, which is right here. Let me go ahead and circle this for you guys. Right here, this is July back in 2022, also saw a top. And then we see a correction, and then followed from August, September, October, November is usually when it starts to break out and start coming back in. And we see the same thing happen back in 2023. Once again, around July, it starts to correct down. We find the bottom in August, and then it starts to rip from August all the way up to November. And we saw the same thing back in 2024. So I don't think it's a coincidence. We've already seen it over 3 to 4 times. This would officially make it, I guess, if you want to consider it the 4th or 5th time that this same exact situation happens. Maybe this time is different, right? That's what everyone always says. Let's just go with those news. But we saw the same thing back in 2024, which was last year. July came in July 2024. We see Bitcoin top off. Market scares one more time. Between August and October is where we have the last accumulation zone before we start to see a breakout with a new price discovery, and Bitcoin took off. So now the question is this time different, or will we be seeing the same, right? So that is the question I'm asking myself. I think we're still probably going to see a correction. I've been mentioning this for a while already. I've been mentioning to everyone in our private community that I am expecting at least one last correction. But maybe we could see something like this, right? or maybe we even see it go like this. But either way, it's still going to the upside. So either way, it's still going up to the upside. But I do think we could potentially see one last correction. I would say probably the worst around $88,000. Obviously, worst case scenario coming down to these $80,000 range. But I think worst case scenario, we do see a correction. $88,000 is where we would more than likely be approaching. But keep in mind, the only reason why I'm a little bit bearish is just due to the fact that there is resistance. This is a very strong area of resistance. Bitcoin has been struggling to break out of the zone for a long time. We've already picked up on some steam, so we definitely need to go ahead and see the bulls take over and start to push this up higher. Now, keep in mind, not just because we're approaching resistance, it doesn't mean that we can't break through this. I do think there's a possibility if any good positive news get announced within the next 2 to 3 weeks, I think we could definitely go ahead and potentially see this breakthrough with no correction. But usually, as I mentioned, when it comes to run-ups like we saw right here, very similar back in this recent run-up that we had, usually the market needs to correct in order to get more momentum to go ahead and push to the upside. So Bitcoin overall is looking good all across the board. Let's go ahead and take a look at the dollar and see how the dollar is doing. Of course, the dollar has been losing its strength. We're going to go ahead and see if the dollar continues to do that. And for gold, we do see that gold is also seems to be accumulating. So we're going to go ahead and see if gold could go ahead and break out of this. And Ethereum's actually looking very good for the first time in a long time. So Ethereum, keep your eyes on Ethereum, everyone. The major area you really want to keep your eyes on is this $2,200 range. Once we break out of this $2,200 for Ethereum, write this down on a piece of paper, $2,200 ETH. Let me go ahead and write this down for you. $2,200 ETH right here is what you want to go ahead and make it a confirmation that the downtrend is finally over. So that means a reversal is in place and our bottoms were $1,300 or $1,400 depending on where, of course, you're looking at and what platform you're looking to sign, right? So Ethereum is looking very, very positive. A lot of very positive things, guys. One thing I've also noticed too, as I mentioned, a lot of the meme tokens have been taking off, specifically Base, as we talked about. I mentioned these last couple months that I was very bullish on Base, and I was expecting to see a little bit more growth coming in. But keep in mind, Degen seems to be at a bottom, also seems to be accumulating right here. Of course, not financial advice, but we are seeing that a lot of these tokens are trying to have this breakout. So we see right here on Degen, Degen is finally looking like it found its bottom. And as long as we start to see Degen start to come back up at around this $60 million market cap, we should go ahead and start to see a lot of these higher risk tokens, as we saw the AI. Right now, the AI tokens are coming back into action and the meme tokens. So even if we do see a correction, I think we might see a meme coin run. And we're seeing it right now. I mean, we're seeing the meme coins, we're seeing the AI tokens take off once again. So I think worst case scenario, we could be entering a meme coin season, mini meme coin season. Now, I haven't taken a look at Bitcoin dominance. Let's go ahead and take a look at what Bitcoin dominance looks like. Let's go ahead and see. I usually like to look at this. I think it's on the weekly. It's been a while since I've used Bitcoin dominance. I wonder what time frame I used to look at this. I think it was maybe the monthly. No, it was the weekly for sure. So one thing I want to go ahead and point out, and I think this is where Bitcoin dominance is going to top. I think Bitcoin dominance is going to probably top at around this 70%. So it looks like we should be seeing a shift from Bitcoin over to the altcoins and the higher cap, or the lower caps and the higher risk tokens start to see that shift of momentum. So I really think we could go ahead and see a breakout on Bitcoin happen very, very fast and a lot quicker than a lot of us expect. One of the biggest things that I used to always go ahead and monitor is back right here. Usually when Bitcoin dominance is below this 47%, is usually when the meme tokens, we have this little like massive meme coin run up. Is usually when when Bitcoin dominance falls below this 48%. Shiba Inu was created around 2021, which is around this top where Bitcoin dominance topped at around 48%, and it started to fall down, and we saw a run up on meme tokens. We saw a very similar thing happen right here back in 2022, also into July, and then we saw this back in 2023. Same thing, which was at around right here at around 47 to 48%, which, believe it or not, this was actually where Pepe was launched. So a lot of major meme tokens were launched during Bitcoin dominance being down at 47%. Usually when the market's not looking too good, it's usually after Bitcoin has a really big run up. As you see right here, December of 2020 is when Bitcoin's dominance was at 72%. And if we go ahead and take a look at what that looks like, let's see if I could go ahead and duplicate my chart. Let's see what Bitcoin looked like on December 2020 as far as the price, right? I really want to go ahead and take a look at that. So we take a look at the price for Bitcoin. So this is Bitcoin right here back in 2020, right here. So Bitcoin dominance started to top off at around right here around December of 2020, entering 2021. And of course, as you see, then Bitcoin did ended up topping at around April. And if we go ahead and take a look at this Bitcoin dominance, this is where Bitcoin went ahead and topped between December. That's when the dominance started to shift. So once Bitcoin went ahead and hit that 73% dominance, that means that people are favoring Bitcoin. And Bitcoin had his little run. So as you see right here, Bitcoin went from $30,000, topping at around $64,000. And then when you started to see Bitcoin crash, that's when you actually started to see the meme tokens do very well. So a lot of people have a misconception that I always see this all across the board, especially on YouTube when people are talking about, how most people have it right now, but I do see a lot of people that have the incorrect mindset when it comes to this. They think that we need to go ahead and see the markets thrive and then altcoins really take off before we start to see the memes. But realistically, as soon as Bitcoin dominance starts to shift, that's usually when the higher risk tokens start to take off. So as you see right here, this is where Bitcoin entered and made a new all-time high and then topped. And then the meme tokens did very, very well from around this June, from April, June, July, August. And then the meme tokens started to do very badly at around entering fall. And that's a very common thing that we've been seeing for the last couple of years. So keep that in mind. It looks like Bitcoin dominance has been climbing. So if any of you have been wondering why your meme tokens or your altcoins haven't been performing too well, it's because Bitcoin dominance is it's more demanding at this moment. People are favoring Bitcoin as opposed to any other asset class. And I think that could be due to the ETFs, the institutional interest, the hype that we have been seeing, that we haven't seen in previous cycles. But believe me, guys, this right here, when you start to see Bitcoin dominance fall below this 48% dominance, this is where you see meme coins thrive. Like when you hear about the stories of people turning, $1,000 into possibly hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars in meme tokens, this is usually when meme coins thrive. When I'm not saying that we can't see a run up in meme coins. I mean, we just saw a lot of tokens run up. I saw Bonk, WIF pump over 50%. So we're seeing the meme coins make that shift. So it's a very common thing that we see meme coins actually do very, very well between this time right now. May, June, July is usually where a lot of the meme tokens thrive. So just be on the lookout. Like I mentioned, this is just something that I've been seeing for the last couple of years. So far, it has been the same these last couple of years. Maybe this time is different, as we always say, right? But that is just something I want all of you guys to keep in mind. And the reason why I say that is because Degen seems to be bottoming, which Degen is actually an altcoin. But when you go ahead and take a look at a lot of these other meme tokens, like for example, Andy, you guys know that I'm a big believer in Andy. It's following the Pepe narrative. I actually loaded up a little bit more these last couple of days. Last week I loaded up, and then the week before that, I mentioned I wasn't going to do anything too aggressively. Well, I did mention I was going to start maybe buying it around April, and these opportunities that I'm seeing in the meme coins, guys, for me personally, I don't know. I just see this coming. Maybe I'm wrong. So, of course, always do everything with what you believe in and what you're comfortably losing if you do lose and it goes against you, right? But I'm pretty invested into this token. I've been holding on since literally since back over here at around April of 2024. So I've been a holder almost for a year, haven't sold a dime. I'm actually still down quite a bit, but because I was buying during these downsides right here, I loaded up a lot within the zone right here. Especially just these last couple days and weeks, I started to accumulate more Andy at around these zones. And the reason why is because it looks like a lot of these meme coins are coming to an end. And what I mean by coming to an end, I mean the bleeding is coming to an end. It looks like the meme coins have seen a lot of selling pressure. Meme coins have gotten crushed. If you actually take a look at a lot of your meme tokens, if you have in your portfolio, meme tokens, the reason why everyone says stay away from meme tokens, be careful, is because you see these 90+% downsides, right? But remember, with those downsides comes the upside. So we were to go ahead and see what this upside is just from Andy from its previous all-time high from back at around 2024 in June. We could go ahead and see that it is over a 10x return. So a lot of these tokens are showing that there could be a bottom coming in. Benny's also another token on base that I've been holding on to also for quite a long time now, going on for years. Same pattern going on right here. I know the chart looks scary. You're like, John, how do you go through this? I'm just so used to with the meme tokens. Like, that's why when we see these corrections on altcoins, to me, it doesn't shake me up anymore, because the volatility that comes with meme tokens are far way worse than you will ever see when it comes to altcoins. So, of course, definitely takes a special person to be able to stomach these corrections. But another token I started to go ahead and accumulate and I loaded up more on over the weekend was actually used car. I actually threw in a couple grand over here, down now worth a couple $100. But I threw in a couple grand just last weekend as well, just because I am seeing this trend of also volume. I started to see volume pick up, and I also started to see this same very similar pattern that we've been seeing with a lot of meme tokens. Another one I've been keeping my eye closed on is Mother Iggy. So also same thing, we're seeing it right here. So we're going to go ahead and see if this is really true for the meme tokens, that this is the actual bottom. Because usually what we start to see on the memes is then we just start to see this massive pump to the upside, and then most people are not able to catch that. So this is the reason why I'm giving you all the heads up. Something to consider, of course. Only put in money that you're okay losing, just in case this goes against us. But at these zones with a lot of tokens, you could easily throw in $200 to maybe even $500 and make a couple thousand. If this is the bottom and we do see the reversal, because these tokens overall are down already quite a bit, over about almost 90%. If you look at Iggy right here, very popular ones. This is a meme coin on Solana. You can see that correction at 93%. Same thing with Trump token, right? When Trump went ahead and announced that whoever's a top holder, they're going to go ahead and get invited to the White House, have dinner with him, and play golf, maybe even tennis. You see that the Trump token topped back in January, corrected over 87%. So this one wasn't as bad. And I did talk about it around this time when Trump's token launched. I was saying that anything under $20, in my opinion, not financial advice, of course, could be a pretty good buying opportunity. The same thing you saw as soon as Trump went ahead and announced that, we did see his meme token literally recover and did over a little bit over a 1x return, 122%, depending, of course, of where you purchased and you measured, right? So we're seeing this trend all across the board. I mean, let's see if GigaChad is doing it. I know a lot of you guys are also supporters of GigaChad. Once again, GigaChad is also doing that. We do see that now it's looking to have a little bit more of an upside to it. So we're seeing these tokens all across the board pick up in this momentum. So it looks like people are now putting their money back into meme coins. So it could mean something, it could not, but I'm telling you, usually when we start to see this is usually when the market takes off. Now, as I mentioned, this is not a guarantee. You're seeing tokens right here, prompt 75%. So you're seeing the tokens, you know, this one, Soda, it's probably a meme, it's probably an AI token related, 81%. So the AI tokens, the meme tokens are doing very, very well right now. Now, if meme tokens is not something you're interested in, I do not recommend it. Stay far away from them. But if you're feeling lucky and you want to go ahead and throw a couple $100 into some of them, in my opinion, I don't think you could go wrong around this time right now, because we are seeing signs that the meme tokens, their bottom is probably in. And we're seeing it with another token. Let me show you guys real quick. Bonk. You guys been seeing Bonk do very, very well these last couple of days. I'm telling you, Dog with Hat did over a 2x, I believe. So this is not a coincidence. When I tell you this is not a coincidence, I just pulled over 5 meme tokens and they all did this crazy pump, right? So this one did over 100%, 118%, which is about a 1x, right? So you're seeing a lot of these tokens now, especially these higher risk tokens, start to pick up in steam. So just something to consider. Like I said, not financial advice, of course, but I have noticed this trend, and it's not something that's uncommon, because usually meme tokens do tend to take off at around this time. So something just to consider. If any of you that are in our private community, go ahead and join my office hours. I do have an office hours after this live stream. Go ahead and join me there, and we can go ahead and talk about a few meme tokens that I'm looking at. I could go ahead and share a few blue chips. I do not want to share too much meme coins. The reason why is because they're more of a higher risk, and I do not want to be the one promoting them. Even though I personally love meme coins, I like taking risk. I'm a high risk kind of person, but meme coins are not for everyone. So this is one of the main reasons why personally I do not like to push them or promote them too much. But if you are in our private community and you want to go ahead and get a list of tokens that I'm currently looking at or considering to purchase, go ahead and join my office hours in about less than an hour, and we can go ahead and chat up there, and I can go ahead and share those tokens with you. If we do start to see the market do pretty well, we do start to see this recovery coming back up, and this trend does seem to be true with the meme tokens, I'll be more than glad to go ahead and share those in the next coming days. But of course, as I mentioned, I do not want to go ahead and be promoting them. But if you are interested, go ahead and reach out to me, and I'll be more than glad to go ahead and share that with you. With that being said, not much really going on with the market. We have a lot of data, economical data coming up in the next couple weeks, this week and the next week also. So just expect a lot of volatility. Hopefully we get some good news to see this breakout. But we are seeing this excitement back in meme coins. So very, very excited and looking forward to, if this happens, this is usually the best time when it comes to crypto, in my opinion. Once the memes start to run up, I think it's a really good, fun time as we just wait for the markets to fully have that next blast off, right? That is not the big meme coin season that everyone talks about. That is just like a mini cycle. But that's this is usually around the time where meme tokens start to come up and start to recover. The ones that, of course, have good communities. With that being said, guys, just make sure to go ahead and smash that like button, turn on post notifications, subscribe, and most importantly, go ahead and catch us on Thursday. I will be talking with Tristan, so hopefully we have more positive news coming up. But with that being said, guys, stay safe. Remember, do not go ahead and share any of your private information, such as your such as your keys or any of that, your wallets. No one's ever going to be asking for any of that information. So be very, very cautious. Stay safe out there. With that being said, I hope all of you have a great rest of your day. Have a great week, and have a great weekend for all of you that I won't be seeing. But I'll catch all of you back on Thursday. Take care, guys. Bye.